Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of FLCL Grunge on Toonami. And I didn't enjoy this anime, but I don't think it's bad either. I think that there are decent ideas in it, and concepts and potential, but it feels like Toonami's in a very rough spot with how the streaming wars have been going, especially in regards to anime content, and that they got their deals for FLCL and they're just trying to pump out as much as possible, as we've been getting a lot more of FLCL, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing. Like, if this story with these characters had been done in their own kind of way, with their own kind of execution, I think it would have been done a lot better. Because this just really feels like they got FLCL and they just slapped this on and pumped out 3 episodes. Now, does that mean that the animation quality is bad? No. I'm actually quite alright with the animation and some of the kind of gags that they did of going from 3D to 2D and the weird kind of wackiness. However, you run into the concept of, like, FLCL the first season was so interesting because it was by itself. It was its own kind of weird fucking thing that did its own kind of randomness. Now, we've got all these kind of repetitions of it, and it's kind of getting to, like, okay, you keep seeing it over and over, and it kind of loses its randomness. You're like, oh, okay, we're just going to be doing something that's pretty much just kind of out there or out of nowhere, and just because it's FLCL. And even in FLCL's randomness, there was a rhyme and a reason to that, if that makes sense. This is just like, hey, we're here, let's do this. So the biggest kind of thing is we pretty much focus on 3 characters: Shinpachi, Shonari, and Orinoco. Let me see. Mother of my asshole! Sorry, I did the wrong thing. Orinoco, Shonari, and Shinpachi. Yes, these are middle schoolers, and pretty much it's put on an Earth that's kind of similar to the ones that we've seen throughout the various other kind of projects that deal with FLCL, but this one is pretty much like a dead Earth, kind of viewing it of like, hey, this generation's fucked because of decisions that we've made and shit like that. It's like, okay, kind of cool to explore that, but we really don't before we get Haruko with her kind of antics of trying to get Adamusk. And the thing is, this is 3 episodes and it focuses on each kind of character. Shinpachi doing his kind of trying rebellious streak against his father, because he's like, what customers do we have? And all this kind of stuff with his whole kind of sushi restaurant. And then serving the mayor, Haruko being like the mayor's girl, and a robot popping in, and Haruka, for some reason, giving a sushi flash drive to do a virus to do a medical mechanica fuckity-doo-dah, fuckity-day thing. And that's like, alright. We see that Orinoco is, her father is a swordsmith, and that she makes a knife for Shinpachi, but that's pretty much then where we see that everything kind of like starts working together. It's like, it's all going along at the kind of same timeline. Haruko, of course, kisses Shinpachi at some point, and pretty much does the whole kind of thing with his forehead and all that. It's like, alright, it's just the same kind of stuff we've seen before. It's like, alright, why don't we have FLCL and just, like, go for it? Like, I don't mind touchstones and fan service, but when all you do is repeat certain kind of things without understanding why they're there, and what they mean, and what you then put meaning behind it for, and how you execute it for it, you're just doing it because of fan service, for nostalgia baiting, for member berries. It's a disservice to you, your story, the characters, and even FLCL before. It's like, I don't mind certain nostalgia and callbacks. That's not what I'm trying to argue against. What my point is, I don't mind that we're doing this kind of stuff again, but, like, do it your own kind of way. Execute it with an interesting kind of different take. Let's see, what else? Then we get into, like, a fucking gang war with, like, Yakuza and shit. She pretty much steals these, like, shuttle tickets because we see the shuttle to, like, a better future kind of thing. and Shonare is this rock thing, kind of like the Thing, but like we got alien creatures that we don't even really dive that much into, of like how they got there, anything like that, which I'm fine with a value add and a mystery that we don't need to, but then we focus on him and his brother pretty much being a dumb enforcer for the Yakuza and pretty much being a drunk because they can only drink liquids, and he goes with that. And the thing is, at the end of the thing, his brother's killed and he's pretty much going like nutty doo-dah, nutty day, and like tasting blood, and it almost like puts it to the thing that he's like going to start drinking blood. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? It's just like, alright, because we then see that the boss gets killed of the Yakuza thing, and his brother feels that it's his fault because also another Rockian had popped up and was like the assassin that took him out. And it's like, I don't feel anything for these characters. And I don't feel anything for these situations. There's nothing that kind of pulls me in other than like, this is fully cooly. It's like, alright. Now the thing is, even though I don't sound like it's really pulling me in, I don't think it's the worst thing I've seen either. I have seen things with worse kind of plots executed completely and utterly horribly. I just think that mashing these together does a disservice to both. I think that if this had been its own kind of thing, exploring characters at the end of a dying world or whatnot, and what hope and futures that they can figure out for themselves, that's got interesting potential and interesting story kind of stuff. But then you put in the fully coolly stuff, and you then just start getting the fan service of like, here's Haruko doing crazy shit, here's Haruko rebuilding her Vespa, doing her Vespa stuff, fighting Animus, getting the whole kind of guitar stuff and everything, and it's like, I don't mind it with kind of like rings and repeating and stuff like that, but the execution for it didn't do it for me. But if you liked this one, that's cool. I think that the animation, which I think would be probably the most kind of contentious, like you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, but here I am pretty much being in the like, hey, it's alright kind of category, which is kind of weird to be able to say that, but I thought it was fine. Like, it's 3D, it's kind of doing its own thing, but still getting the style of fully coolly, and I'm like, I can get that. That works. So Shinari kind of goes nutty. He kills the mayor because Haruko pretty much tells him that the mayor was pretty much instrumental in the gang war thing. It's like, holy fucking shit. And see, he had a thing for Orinoco, leaving her food, getting her back home, and they were able to find meteoric iron, and she forges a katana because her father just wants to forge katanas because he's a master swordsmith. It's like, totally get that. But he hasn't, the resources have been plundered to this point. He cannot do his craft. And he has a robot, because that leads into Orinoco's episode, as we see her dealing with that, dealing that her mother was dead and wondering why the robot's trying to mother her so much, as we find out that the father had pretty much digitally downloaded the mother, and she was acting all shitty to her, but then she finds out that it's her mother and is able to download her memories and take her with her off of the world. Haruko had like one ticket left and gave it to her, and Shinpachi and Shinare stay behind, and she goes off in the future to another kind of planet. It's like, that's where it ends. I'm like, alright. Like, I don't mind that kind of ending. It's just, I didn't connect with the characters or the stories going on. It just was kind of like, hey, here's more fully coolly. I kind of honestly think that, I don't know how the timeline was for what was kind of going on here, but I think they needed more time, at least, to do their own kind of thing, maybe plot it out, maybe get a couple more episodes to kind of fill in and kind of give us more on each character. I'm not saying that each season needs to be like a certain amount of episodes, 6 or whatnot, but this felt short, weird, and just like, huh? And not in the cool, fully coolly way where I'm thinking about it constantly afterward, more just like, that happened. And I know we're going to be getting some more fully coolly here shortly, and it'll be interesting to kind of see what goes on with that. I'm more intrigued by the animation style and the kind of teasers that we've seen, but I was also intrigued by this, but by the end of it, I'm just, I don't feel that my time was completely wasted, but there's other anime that I'm more interested in and could have checked out, and I can still check out. It's not like I wasted like 30 fucking episodes, 300 episodes, or 1,000 episodes onto certain kind of things. But it just didn't give me much to think about story-wise, character-wise, or anything like that. Just kind of like a blip of like, oh, Okay. So it's really weird to even be like, I don't really recommend it, but I don't not recommend it, if that makes sense. If you're into Fooly Cooly and you love the kind of hallmarks, I think you will get something out of this and enjoyment. Character-wise, they're there, but there's not much done with them. Action scene-wise, I could definitely give it to the action scenes. They were definitely well done and definitely visually striking on certain kind of aspects. So I think if you're looking for action and all that kind of bits, you'd get a decent amount out of it. But yeah, if you're really into plot and character, I don't think you'll get much out of it. But it's 3 episodes, so if you're like, I need a palate cleanser, or I need something to do, definitely check it out. If you're into Fooly Cooly, I think there'll be enough here for you to be like, hey, okay, I got a little bit more Fooly Cooly. And that'll be good for you. So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.